Okay, and we are live. I'm still using this very annoying camera. I haven't got my other camera up. I need to get it sorted, but we are live nonetheless. And just want to make sure that we are live from the other end. So you're getting a live picture, and I'll get started. Yep, that's live. Fantastic. So let us begin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, of course. You know my name. I don't have to keep saying it. But anyway, so I'm just going to get back to where I was yesterday. I was talking about boxercise and boxing classes and my annoying camera. Yeah, so I was talking about boxercise classes versus boxing coaching. And I'm just going to bring this forward a bit more. Maybe my camera won't mess about so much. Here. Yeah. So, and I was telling you all that it was my first time. It would be my first time coaching back in the world of boxing for almost 3 years. I'd been coaching cricket for a very long time, and I kind of stepped out of cricket for a while. Got involved in coaching boxing after having a boxing career myself, and decided it was time to have a go in coaching boxing because my own boxing career had to come to an end because of an illness. So here we are, the 6th of October 2015, and I've just finished doing my first coaching session. The coaching session was for an hour. I think I've got one viewer. Let me check and see who the viewer is, so I'm not rude to anybody. Nope. Okay, cool. That's fine. Views are coming in now. So I said I'd come back and do a video just to respond and just to say, well, how the session went. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to those people out there. Stuart Howe, Rob Day from Ring News 24, Clifford Benton. Thank you so much for your comments over Twitter. Thanks people like my wife, Lee Keevan, Chris Golding, and those usual suspects, Adam Forsey. Shout out to Dave Allen, who's saw him doing some training today, working out very hard. Shout out to Julius Jackson, who fights a little later tonight. Unbeaten super middleweight for Virgin Islands. Brother, I hope you cook up something very nice tonight and get rid of this opponent. We can see you in world title action sometime next year. So yeah, that's that. So let's get into things. I was talking about boxercise versus boxing coaching, and my problem with the boxercise classes, or to take a boxercise class, was that I felt that technique was being sacrificed, and technique and skills being sacrificed for a workout, and people throwing incorrect punches, and we're just trying to get fit. And I think after last night, and then whilst this today, just after I took my photograph, to clean up and prepared for my session, I thought about it a little bit more, and I said to myself, right, if they want to work out, then they can go to the gym and they can do Pilates, they can do yoga, they can do keep fit classes. But if they want to learn how to box, then that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching. So I said to myself, you know what? They want me to come to the school and do a coaching session. I'm going to do that. So I did a coaching session. It was for 32 young people, aged between the age of 15 and 18. And I said to myself, I was asked to coach. So ultimately, when you say boxing coaching, it's boxercise. Get some pads, throw some punches, run around the room, lots of press-ups, lots of sit-ups, and get fit. And I said to myself, nope, there's no way I'm going to coach that, not for first session. For me, and coaching in general, I think if you're going to be coaching. In my experience, my 15 years experience, I realized that the first maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and maybe even the first month, you're not actually doing any coaching. What you're actually doing is building a relationship, and understanding, an understanding between coach and participant, student, participant, however, pupil, whichever way you want to look at it. The participant is trying to understand where you're coming from as a coach, and trying to understand why you're doing what you do, and to what extent can they push you. Find out whether you're one that's very serious all the time, or whether one that you'll crack a smile or a joke. You find their coaching styles, and very quickly, I think people pick up whether they're really going to listen to you or not. And then, from the coach's point of view, I'm looking for people to say, well, okay, who are the people in my class are going to be a bit more difficult to coach, i.e., who are the ones who need to be engaged? It takes a bit more to engage them. Who are the people in the class that are going to be disruptive? So how do I keep them more occupied? Who are the people in the class that are, let's say, small attention spans? They don't concentrate for very long. So all these things you're trying to work out and get together. So all these people are coming with these great plans. Oh, here's my plan. I'm coaching for 6 weeks. Here's my plan. I'm going to do this week 1, week 2, week 3, and you've not even met the class. So for me, I'm like, pretty cool. I've got a basic outline of what I'm going to do, warm them up, get them fit, blah, 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 blah. But my main objective is for them to understand that they're going to have fun, that they're going to learn boxing fundamentals. So here I am, get to the class now, get to the group, greeted with a set of pads. Now, the first interesting thing was that the pads that we had there, they were all quite nice pads. They were Everlast pads, like really nice, crisp Everlast pads. They had some Ricky Hatton boxing pads, like mitts. And those mitts were from Ricky Hatton. It must be from Ricky Hatton boxing. But the quality of the mitts were very, very good. And this is an Ireland, we're talking that in England. So I'm thinking, very nice that Ricky Hatton has got his brand in Ireland. Very good. So anyway, I've gone into the hall, looked at the hall, and the first thing you do, you risk assessing. You're saying, okay, well, is this safe to do a session in? I'm looking, I'm seeing apparatus here, apparatus there, mats in the one side, and I think well, okay, it's a small hall. How am I going to run this session? How am I going to run this session effectively? So I said, look, I cannot run a session in this hall with all these apparatus around the room. No way. It's risk assessment. Now, if somebody gets to bounce themselves and gets hurt, can't do it. So we made sure we got the apparatus on the other side of the room. And I'm so glad I did that, because less than about 2 minutes after I said that I heard the kids coming in. Like I said, about 30 odd kids coming through, just coming through. Boom, 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 boom. That's that moment, that trigger moment where you see them for the first time and they see you for the first time. So, I'm expecting a rowdy bunch of kids coming rushing through, because this is a boarding school. So, the first time I've actually done a coaching session at a boarding school, which is a little different. So anyway, kids are coming through like almost like animals coming in by two, but just boom, they're coming through. So they come through, and looking at them, notice very quickly that by listening to them speaking, a lot of them are from like Spain and Italy, and France, so they were foreign students. So I was like, okay, so we're gonna they have language barrier, maybe not, don't know. Look and see if there were any Irish kids there. So there were one or two. There's a couple of Irish. It was mixed between girls and guys. So there was a couple of Irish girls there in it as well, which is good. It's a nice mix of girls and guys. Nice mix. It's pretty balanced. 15 guys, 15 boys, 15 guys, 15 guys, 15 girls. It's nice balance. So they're kind of standing looking at me. Standing looking at me like I saying to myself, well, who's this geezer? So you're introduced. You're introduced to the group. And so well, how am I going to get these lot engaged? So I got them, because of the way it was shaped, I couldn't get them running in a circle, got them running in a square, a rectangle, in fact. So I got them running around a rectangle, running one way, then running a rectangle, just running forwards, and then change it and change direction, and change direction, and change direction, and stop. Didn't do it any fast or slow, I just stopped. So to me, that tells me to see if they're listening to what I've got to say, and see if anyone's going to try and, when I say stop, anyone's going to keep on running when I've said stop. So they're all listening. They call and stand with the command of stop. Important. So I said to them, I have 3 rules. Rule number 1 is, when I'm talking, you're listening. Rule number 2 is, you have fun. Rule number 3 is, you have fun. So they kind of smile. So like a nervy sort of smile. You know, what's this guy up about? What's he about? So they're still assessing you. They're still assessing to hear what you're going to say, see if you're going to do something. So they're jogging forwards, jogging backwards, jogging forwards, jogging. So stop. So I got them to play the numbers game. Basically, you call a number from 1 to 10 as they're running around the room in that circle, that rectangle. You'll call a number. When they get to us, you might shout 5. On a shout 5, they'll run together in a group of 5, huddle together. And the person that's left out of the group gets put to one side out of the group, out of the game. And then you just, by the end of the game, you should have only 2 people at the end. And then those 2 people, the first one that gets to whatever location you want to get to in the hall, the person who first gets their wins. So yeah, that kind of broke the ice between me and them, and kind of broke any clickiness down inside groups, because people like to stick in their own, you know, who they're comfortable with. So that was quite good. We did that. Then I got them again to carry on jogging, and then what I did is start getting them to jog in reverse gear. I said, good. I said, you're probably wondering what all this is all about. And they're like, kind of look at me like, what's this got to do with boxing? I'm saying to them, well, the important thing about boxing is your feet. And I said, your footwork, being able to move forward and move backward. You know, being able to think on your feet. So they had a command where they had to move forward, they had to run backwards. At one point they were running backwards, and they had to watch what they were doing when they were running backwards, so they didn't touch the person behind them, judging space. And then when they were jogging forwards, they had to judge space, so they didn't bounce into the person in front of them. So it's all about controlling space and distance. And just for me to see what they did, whether they had followed the instructions, whether they were intelligent enough or competent enough to understand spatial awareness in the other. So they were quite good with that. I was quite good at that. Then after we did that, the importance of footwork is I don't care how hard you can punch. I don't care how good your punches look. It's like the foundation, your feet. You know, if you can't get your footwork right, then everything else upstairs is messed up. It's like building your house on the sand, and the rain comes down. And in the case of a boxer who's not got good footwork, well, they can't get themselves in a position to attack. They can't get themselves out of a position to defend or counter. So that footwork lets them down. If they get caught with a good punch, they can't get themselves out of the way. They can't maneuver themselves in a position to hit and not get hit. So they're just constantly a target of being hit all the time. They can't maneuver. So it's very good to have footwork. So you transfer from defense to attack in an instance because of your footwork. Get you into positions and get you out of positions that the person who hasn't got good footwork, it helps a lot. And of course, stability. If you don't have a good base from the start, when you have if you have to take a punch, then if you're not sturdy and set up right, then if your 2 feet are together, for example, you can get knocked off balance. You see some fighters in boxing that their chin, they get flash knockdowns, but that's not because they haven't got a good chin. Some of the times it's because their balance. they're caught square. You heard of getting caught square, where your 2 feet are, you know, right in front of you like this. They're flat like that, as opposed to being at a distance like this, or like that to the side like that, as it should be. Your feet are like this together, so you get caught straight in the punch, bam, and of course you're going to go over. So yeah, so I got them to get on, make sure. That's it, right? Next thing you do, got them all on the line. I got them side on, and of course you ask the question, so which is your stronger hand? And there's always somebody that sticks their hand up and says, yeah, wash hand. So there's only 2 of them, and to be honest, I thought, you know what? The majority of you people in here are going to pull up your right hand first and use that as your jabbing hand. So no, you're going to stick your left hand up. Your left hand's going to jab, your right hand's here. So they said to me, oh, but my left hand's my strongest hand. I said, well, that's good. For you tonight, you're going to be working your right hand. So you're going to do tap, or you're going to work in your left hand as your jab, and your right hand is your punch. So everyone was orthodox. Nobody went southpaw. Some coach would say, yeah, but you should really coach them southpaw. So you know what? If they can use both hands, if they can ambidextrous, that means they can use the left hand and then throw the right hand. Then they can go from the right hand for the left. Brilliant, fantastic. That's great. Let them get in the fundamentals first. This is the first week. So I just want to hand all so I got them to work moving forward, moving backwards, move forward, moving backwards, moving side to side. Just up, back, left, right. Then I got them throwing the jabs, throwing the jab force. They double up the jab. So take a step forward, jab, jab, step back, jab, jab, forward, jab, jab, back, jab, jab, forward, jab, jab, back, jab, jab. And every time they're throwing a jab, it always makes telling them when they throw the jab to keep it there, times that, like that, yeah. And then when they throw the jab, they bring it back, there, back, there, back. So all the time they were doing that. Well, that's they're still kind of looking at me wondering, this guy, he's getting us to throw the jab and bring the jab back. But hold on a second. Why is he getting to throw the jab? He's not bringing no pads out. And I said, you know what? I said to myself, in all this exercise, I said, I'm going to ensure that these guys and girls do not pick up pads and start wanting to hit the bag and hit the pads. And trying to get to that point, they need to get their fundamentals right. So I've got to make sure that they get the fundamentals right. So the next thing I did was to ensure I did that. Then I got them to double the jab up and he used the right hand, ensuring every time that the punches were coming back. Every time there's always a punch coming back. So the right hand is there, jab's there. So they're doing that. It's not quite nice. And they got them to stand opposite one another. So I got one to look. One was the coach, one was the puncher, and then they changed roles. And then at the end, I got them like distance, but I got them getting used to practicing throwing the jab at the next person next to them or opposite from them, just practicing the jab at distance. So they understood the jab was going to the forehead. So they go in, they move in, bang, throw the jab, step up, step back, throw the jab, step back, and then got them to 1, 2, step back, 1, 2, step back. Had an idea, and then after that, got them in the groups of 2s to then just go along the line. I said, right, now you're going to show the group what you've done. And I got when one group had completed the task, I got the rest of the class to clap. I said, at this point in time, it's not about getting your technique brilliant. At this point in time, it's about encouraging you. The class, you can tell already, they lacked confidence. So what you're doing is to install a bit of confidence in them. Not false confidence, but that they're trying. So then, someone would get the jab and they might just fundamental things, the jab will bring the hand back down to down by the side, you know, or they jab, they got the chin in the air, or they jab, and you know, some of the girls jab and they just didn't really make much of an effort, or not effort. It wasn't so much taking the effort. It's like they lacked the confidence to throw the jab. So by the end, I think when people start clapping, they start to, you know, then people start to loosen up, understand, oh, this coach is okay, you know. I know there's some coaches who have probably got them out there today, trying to get them from week one, from day one, get them trying to all train like Rocky for world title fights. But that was not what was in my mind. My mindset is for them to enjoy the sport, for them to learn the correct fundamentals, have fun doing it. And you know, like I said, if they wanted to get a workout, let them go to the gym and get a workout. This was about them getting the fundamentals. So they got that right. So I then introduced the pads to them. By then, they were able to, after about 30 minutes of going backward and forward, throwing the jab, and looking at one another, throwing the jab. I got the pads out. Of course, it's the left jab and the right hand. Boom, 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 boom. So one would step up, one would hold the pads, the other one would just step up and go 1, 2, or 2, or double jab. So then you got the guys at the other end holding the pads are like, you know, okay, right, when do I get my turn to hit the pads? Because that's what they want to do. The girls and the guys don't want to hit the pads. So I don't want to be holding pads on. I said, all right, fine. Next thing you're going to do is that every time they throw the jab, I want you to come back over the top and hit them on the shoulder, the jab and shoulder. So if they don't bring the jab back in time, you can come back. Oh boy, the room just suddenly erupted, because then, you know, you had the people trying to throw the jab, bringing the jab back, and the people that who had the pads in the hand now were catching the jab and then trying to catch them over backwards onto the shoulder. So that was quite good. So by the end of the session, with both sides, the teachers were able to see that the students were able to throw the jab, bring the jab back, and bring it back in time so they weren't getting hit. Not bring it back in time because they're scared of getting hit, but bring it back with the confidence to know, once I throw my jab and I bring my jab back here, I shouldn't be getting caught. It was very good, and they were able to get the footwork to get in and get out. Throw a jab, get back, bring a jab, and bring back. That was the 1, 2, boom, boom, and bring back. So it was very good, very, very good. But it's like we came to the end of the session, and it was like, I didn't know whether it was all quite quiet. Everybody enjoyed themselves, and then the teacher went to me, "Oh, well done, really enjoyed that." And they're saying that they want me back, but they're going to have me back for the next 5 weeks, and they're explaining how they really enjoyed my session. They said they had a boxing coach there before, but he never taught them that. He didn't get them involved. They weren't engaged. The young people weren't engaged the way I had got them engaged. So I was quite chuffed. I was really happy about it. Really happy, you know, because I had all sorts of apprehensions of how it could have been or what could have happened. But it was good in that sense. And when the staff themselves want to get in and start throwing punches themselves, yeah, I think that's a good reflection. It's a fair reflection. So I was quite chuffed about that. And then at the end, it's when the young people come up to you afterwards, and one girl in particular, she'd obviously done some boxing before, but she'd done something because her hand was up quite nice. She was able to throw the jab quite nice, fast right hands. She came and said to me, and young people always do it. They've got this way of dropping seeds. The young person said to me, Spanish girl, she said, "Do I throw a hook like this or like this?" So I was saying to her, well, you're going to kind of, I don't know how to kind of demonstrate in the chair, but your left hook, you're throwing your hook there. So your knuckle part is landing there, round. And bring it round, boom. A short shot, bang, there. Explain to her. And she said, okay. And she went, so tell me something. I said, yes. Can I ask you a question? I said, yes, go ahead. She goes, so where's your boxing gym? I'm like, what? She went, where's your boxing gym? I'm like, I don't have a boxing gym. And she's like, why don't you have a boxing gym? And I'm like, because I don't. So then she went, "You should," and I went, "Okay." It was like, it was just that moment where I was just left thinking, young people do it. Young people do it all the time. It was a young person that, when I was struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome, it was a young person said to me, "Well, coach, if you can't be here for us, then you're letting us down, not turn up to sessions." And I knew I had to beat the illness or find a way to beat the illness. And now this young person's come to me and said to me, "Why don't I have my own gym?" It's got me thinking. So if on my first day back into the world of boxing, young people are asking me why I don't have a gym and where's my gym and how can they train with me more and all the rest of it, I guess it's a positive. And they're already talking about extending my sessions. I mean, I've only been there 1 week and they want me to be there and extend until the end of the year, and I don't know, but it was good. Came back after I got left home, came back and I told my wife about the session, and yeah, she was pretty pleased. I'd give. She said, "How much would I rate myself?" And I rate myself a 5 out of 10. You know why? Because it was my first week back, and from a while, and the little things make sure when you're talking, like I'm talking to myself, when I'm talking, ensure that I've got the whole class, make sure your back's not to them, but it's kind of difficult sometimes. So I made sure that when my back was to someone, just kind of turn my back around so they were facing. I made sure I was engaging to them all the time. Each one of those individuals that were there, each one of those individuals got at least maybe a minute or 2 minutes of my time. So if they were throwing the jab incorrectly, I'd be stand beside them and then throw the jab with them. So I'd walk through the jab, or I'd walk them through the right hand, or maybe I'd walk them through stepping forward and stepping back. There's one girl who's she was throwing a right hand like Golovkin. Well, not like Golovkin. How Golovkin's got to punch where he chops down, but she had a punch. It was like the right hand was coming like that. It's quite funny. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I felt really good from it. It was nice to be back. You're jumping straight into the frying, right into the fire. There was no warm up, no sort of, yeah, at least I was quite confident about what I was doing. And yeah, I said I would feed back to you guys how the session went. And that was my feedback, really. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really positive session for myself. And yeah, like I said, it's nice to be back in the sport. I go back next week and I'll do a coaching session again. And I think I'll go back and do exactly what I did last week, see what they've learned. So get somebody to volunteer to show me what they've learned, what they learned from last week. And then what next week might add a left hook into it. I might add the left hook on the right hand, left hook right hand combination, or I might add in the uppercuts, so that I'm doing uppercuts on the bags. I might do combo punching, just get the bags on, work a little harder. So we'll see. But all in all, it was just good to be out there. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And the next session I will be better, and I'll just keep building session for session to session to session. But it is one thing, whether it be Spanish kids, English kids, Irish kids, there is this less within young people, and I don't know where it comes from, because you see them out on the street and they're pretty confident, but when they're taking part in sport, there's a lot of young people that are not confident, and it can't be why they're not that confident. They lack that confidence. They seem to be like locked into I don't know if it's a false shyness, or you're just new as a coach, or it's just something that's very I see a lot young people lacking confidence. And yeah, so I ensure that in all my sessions that we always boost the confidence and give them more confidence. rather than take that away from them. All right, I think that's me. I promised my good friend Clifford Benton that I would not go over 30 minutes. I'm not going to go over 30 minutes tonight. So that's it. That's my boxing review. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and take it from there. Thank you for watching. I'm now going to go and watch Julius Jackson do the business tonight. I think the Flash is on tonight as well, so I'll watch that. And pray go to bed real well tonight and get good sleep. Thank you all so much for your support. I'm out of here. Take care.